How do you measure success? Good question, isn't it? We're going to talk about it next on Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. Having a little Headbangers brew this morning in my classic Christian metal fan mug. Forgot what it said, but it's got all the bands on it, and it's one of 4 different styles you can get. And I'm drinking a little Headbangers brew this morning. This is our spring blend, and it's called I Love You Very Much. And as I've said before, it's very, very good. So you want to try this out. And it's in decaf, it's in regular ground, it's in K-cups, and it's the best. Along with all of our other stuff, all of our coffee blends, our mugs, our t-shirts, wearemetalwearefamily.com. Dear Pastor Bob, I'm 41 years old, and I'm a failure. All of my life I've been chasing success, but have never been successful. I have 2 children that I am unable to send to college, a house that needs a lot of repair, and a car that should be retired. I feel like I have not been a good provider to my wife and children. I really wanted them to have all the things that I didn't have growing up. It is just so overwhelming. Well, there's a few things that I can think of right off the top of my head that I would love to share with you. The first one is that success is a journey. It's not a destination. So we are in that process really all the time. And can I say that in my experience, that the journey has been more important than the outcome. So how do you measure success? You said here in your question that you have a family, you have a wife, you have a roof over your head, you have a car to drive. Do you measure it in monetary terms? And do you measure it by having the best of the best? You know, if that was the case, wealthy people would be the happiest people on earth, and by far not the happiest at all. How do you measure success? What does it look like? You know, people get so caught up in chasing money, chasing what the world defines as success, that we lose perspective on things that are important. We feel like we have to have the biggest house, and the biggest house to impress people more than anything. We feel like we have to have a lot of stuff, and when that stuff accumulates, then we have to have a bigger house to store it in. Yeah. We feel like we have to have the newest car. I have a nice car. Haven't had a new car for decades. I don't even know when. But we feel like we've got to have something that kind of keeps up with the Joneses, so to speak. That we feel proud of and that we feel comfortable in. And if you can have that, that's great. But that's not the thing to chase. And here in America, a lot of the reason that husband and wife both work, instead of the wife being able to, or having the opportunity to take care of the children at home and to be a provider there. She finds that she has to be a breadwinner also, and probably work very hard at home too. Why? Well, because they have the car payment for the new car. They have the house payment for the house that's way too big for them in the first place. And they have all the stuff that they're not finished paying for because they bought it on time. And instead of the husband's salary being enough for the family, and many families could make it if they just would, they both work. And they try to have all the stuff. And yet the very thing that the children need the most is the parents. Many times the father's working so hard the children don't get to spend time with them. And they're not necessarily raised by the parents. They're raised by a nursery or by other people, mostly. Well, that's a problem in my estimation. And folks, when we put money before family, put money before things that really matter to us, and a car and a house and those things aren't the things you're going to take with you. Your relationships are, your family is, your friends are. Those are the important things. And you have to measure life accordingly. That's what real success is. Let's go today to Proverbs, great scripture here. And Proverbs chapter 3, starting with verse 1. And he says, "My son, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life worth living, and tranquility and prosperity, the wholeness of life's blessings, they will be added to you." That's awesome, isn't it? "And do not let mercy and kindness and truth leave you. Instead, let these qualities define you. Bind them securely around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. So find favor and high esteem in the sight of God and man." That's the foundation. That's what we live for. And those are the things that really matter. It's not stuff. It's not things that we accumulate. They're not the things that really mean something to us, that really make us happy. And as I said, if they were, then all of the very wealthy people would be the happiest people on earth, instead of generally the most miserable. Food for thought. Folks, don't forget you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.